This is Paulette's, some of her ancestral homeland.
So I'm pretty excited to be here.
So Paulette and I in line to get our cable car tickets. So we're going to see what that ride is like. It looks like the line is a little bit long, and it looks like it sort of weaves like a Disneyland
We'll
line.
be thinking about you, Jim.
So this is the line to get onto the cable car. It starts at that greenish building right there. And then it goes all the way around here. And then it goes back to the main street. This is the view. The cable cars were probably about a 15-minute walk from where you get off of the boat.
The settlement of Madeira began between 1420 and 1425. The national flower is the bird of paradise, and you will find agapanthus throughout Funchal, which are two of my favorite flowers. Madeira is an autonomous region of Portugal. It is situated in the North Atlantic Ocean, just under 400 kilometers, 250 miles north of the Canary Islands, Spain, 520 kilometers, 320 miles west of Morocco, and 850 kilometers, 500 miles southwest of the mainland of Portugal, Madeira. Uninhabited at the time, was claimed by the Portuguese sailors in 1419 and settled after 1420. Madeira is a year-round resort, particularly for Portuguese, but also British and German. It is by far the most populous and densely populated Portuguese island.
Next up, toboggan ride. This is the line. What did the toboggan ride cost us, Paulette?
35 pesos for two, which is...
Not 35 pesos.
I'm sorry, 35 euros.
Euros, yeah.
Quite a difference.
If only it were 35 pesos.
Right. It's kind of expensive doing different things here. To ride the cable car, it was 20 euros each.
All right, here we go.
Yeah!
If Paulette starts screaming like a teenage girl, I'll record it. If I do, we're editing that part out. Madeira's famous toboggan rides are a unique and thrilling experience that date back to the early 19th century. These rides, known as carros de cesto, consist of large wicker sleds mounted on wooden runners which glide down the steep streets of Funchal, the capital of Madeira. The toboggans were first introduced around 1850 as a practical mode of transport for wealthy residents living in the Monte district, a hilltop overlooking Funchal. The roads were too steep for traditional horse-drawn carriages, so locals devised a way to descend quickly and smoothly using the wicker sleds. The sleds are handcrafted from wicker wood materials that are readily available on the island. The toboggan experience ride starts at Monte near the Monte Church and runs for about 2 kilometers down the lower part to Funchal. Riders can reach speeds of 30 kilometers per hour, about 18 miles per hour, and are guided by 2 carreros, traditionally dressed men wearing white outfits and straw hats. The carreros use their rubber-soled boots as brakes and skillfully maneuvering the sleds through the winding streets. By the early 20th century, cars and modern transportation had made the toboggan rides obsolete as a daily means of transport. However, instead of disappearing, they evolved into a popular tourist attraction. Today, as thousands of visitors experience the thrill of riding down Madeira's streets in its traditional and exhilarating way. The cost of the ride is 27.5 euros for a single passenger, 35 euros for 2 passengers, and 52.5 euros for 3 passengers. The region is noted for its wine, flora and fauna, and its prehistoric laurel forest. Classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the main harbor in Funchal has long been the leading Portuguese port and cruise ship dockings, an important step over for Atlantic passenger cruises between Europe, the Caribbean, and North Africa. In addition to the International Business Center of Madeira, also known as the Madeira Free Trade Zone, it was established in the 1980s and it includes mainly tax-related incentives. In 1976, after the Portuguese Revolution, in 1974, Madeira was granted political autonomy, forming the autonomous region of Madeira with its own government and parliament. Late in the 20th century, the economy shifted towards tourism, with the region becoming a top destination for European travelers due to its beauty, mild climate, and cultural heritage. Here we are in a large market. A lot of the places on the bottom floor are just places to eat or buy food, and the second floor is more merchandise. Now we're upstairs, we're looking at a lot of dried fruit, things like that, which by the way were pretty expensive here. Madeira's economy is based on wine producing, agriculture and services with a focus on sustainability and environmental conservation. It's a key cultural and economic hub in the Atlantic, with festivals like the Madeira Flower Festival and the New Year's Eve fireworks, which are among the largest in the world. Here we have an example of traditional black and white mosaic tiling that we see on walkways everywhere and streets, especially in the center part of Funchal. We are on Santa Maria Street. In the year 2014, when the Art of Open Doors project was started, the street was turned into a public art space as local artists were invited to paint over 200 of the street's restaurants, cafes, and shops. Here are just a few of the 200 doors, but hopefully you get a taste of what this revitalization project has to offer.
Coming up straight ahead of us is the dazzling yellow old fort São Tiago. It was built in 1614 to protect Funchal from pirate attacks that earlier devastated the port town. Today, however, you'll find hordes of cruise ships with passengers, but no pirates. The waterfront around the fort is a designated swimming area with restaurants nearby.
Here we are strolling along Funchal's seaside promenade, enjoying the opportunities to see the unique view of the coastline bathed by the Atlantic Ocean. On our second day in Funchal, Paulette and I took a hop-on, hop-off bus, although we didn't really hop off anywhere, but that's where these scenes come from. But it gives you a great view of the city. old town. Look at all this beautiful mosaic tile. And walking through the old town, there were several musical acts just playing on street corners and in plazas.
Eu quis amar.
Here we are in the Cathedral of Funchal. Small church, but very beautiful inside, as you can see.
My final thoughts are I felt lucky visiting Madeira because instead of it being one day, we got to stay in port for 2. For me, it was very cool to step on an island where some of my mother's side of the family has come from. It's a beautiful island for sure. However, you are usually walking uphill or downhill. It's very mountainous everywhere. Lots of flowers growing up fences and walls and homes. Lots of color variety for sure, especially finding out their national flower is the bird of paradise, which is one of my favorites. I loved my time there and I enjoyed the cable car ride of the view of the city and the hop-on, hop-off bus to really give those breathtaking views of the ocean and the greenery and the stunning scenery of what makes Madeira so appealing to tourists. Would I go back again? I don't think so. I think that the 2 days that I spent there was enough for me. I will forever be grateful to have stepped foot where my ancestors once walked, and maybe some still do. I don't know.
My final thoughts are that I really loved Madeira. Paulette and I have been wanting to visit the island of Madeira for 10 years since we first visited Portugal. It was well worth the wait. The lush greenery was amazing, as were the cobblestone streets and gazing upon the Atlantic Ocean. I can see why tourists flock here.
If you like what we're doing, we hope that you will consider subscribing to our channel.